countdown to the clash of the century has begun, but behind the glitter, the cheers, and the hype, a chilling warning echoes through the boxing world. Veterans of the sport are sounding the alarm, and it's not the kind of message Canelo Alvarez or his fans wanted to hear. They say this fight isn't just another test. It could be the toughest battle of his career. The whispers are clear. The Mexican superstar might be walking straight into a storm he never truly prepared for.
And Canelo only needs one punch. You know what I mean? That really, basically, that's what it boils down to. I think Canelo only needs one shot to change the game or change the fight. Crawford gonna have to stay consistent and win out. He's gonna have to get ahead and stay ahead. You know what I mean? And then also looming is the controversy. Can Crawford win a close decision? I could never win a close decision. I never won a close decision. That's what's looming. I think if Crawford is going to guarantee victory, he got to stop him.
A man who ain't been stopped.
He got to stop him, bro.
It's challenge.
So that's going to be the challenge. So I like Bud. I've always loved Bud, bro. But he in for a hell of a fight. If Saul show up, it's going to be problem.
From the streets of Liverpool to the bright lights of Las Vegas, Liam Smith knows firsthand the brutality of standing toe-to-toe with Canelo Alvarez. Back in 2016, one vicious body shot sent Smith crashing to the canvas, proof of the Mexican champion's devastating power. Now, years later, Smith admits he believes Canelo will beat Terence Crawford, but not without enduring a war that could push him to his absolute limits. And Canelo's preparation tells its own story. The whispers from inside his camp reveal he's sparring with none other than Jaron Boots Ennis, one of the most feared young contenders in the welterweight division. That choice alone speaks volumes. Canelo isn't just training, he's bracing for a nightmare. But Smith isn't the only one fueling the fire. Former WBC champion Regis Prograis has stepped into the conversation, pointing to something fans can't ignore: age and size. At 35, Canelo enters this fight as the younger, stronger, and naturally bigger man. He's faced giants before Kovalev. Golovkin survived. Prograis warns that Crawford, despite his brilliance, might simply be walking into a battle where physics and experience tilt the odds against him. The tension is undeniable: brilliance versus brute strength, speed versus size. But the question lingers: what happens when Crawford's mind meets Canelo's muscle?
I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You got to look at it. And then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small. You know, and he can look bigger Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. You know, his head, his neck, everything looked bigger. But when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man. And I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him troubles: Irislan, De Lara, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol. You know, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that. But I don't know how Crawford is going to respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee. You know, so it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't. You know, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about this might be. I mean, people might kill me for it, but well, not really, but this might be the best Mexican fighter ever.
But then comes a voice from the shadows, one man who's felt the raw power of both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Jeff Horn, a fighter who's been broken by Canelo's fists and dismantled by Crawford's precision. And yet, despite tasting defeat at the hands of both warriors, Horn delivers a shocking twist in the narrative. He believes Crawford may hold the secret weapon. Horn describes him as a predator who doesn't just throw punches, he manipulates the ring itself. Crawford forces opponents to stumble straight into his traps, punishing them with blows they never see coming. His ability to control distance, to turn aggression into self-destruction, could be the exact formula needed to shatter Canelo's dominance. Horn warns the boxing world, don't underestimate him. Crawford isn't just technical, he's surgical. Every adjustment, every counter, every perfectly timed strike carries the weight of destruction. And in a fight where one mistake can end everything, that mastery could tilt the balance in Crawford's favor. So the question hangs heavy. Is Crawford about to rewrite boxing history with brains over brawn?
It has to be. Like, I don't know if it's even been done before like this, but I don't think anyone's been successful at least at it. But he's got to. It's going to be tough. Like, I don't know how he's going to do it. Like, but I just know Crawford is so smart in that boxing ring that if anyone's to do it, he's definitely someone that can do it. So the weight stuff should be a rule, and it is in boxing that you're just not meant to jump it. You're not meant to jump multiple weight divisions like he's doing. But if it's Terence Crawford and he's smart out there and he knows what Canelo has to offer, because Canelo's he's jumped up from weight divisions too. Like, he used to be a welterweight a fairly long time ago, like I was.
Amir Khan steps into the conversation with the weight of experience carved into his very career. He's lived through both nightmares. In 2016, Canelo Alvarez's thunderous fists sent him crashing to the canvas in one of boxing's most brutal knockouts. Then in 2019, Terence Crawford's razor-sharp precision forced his corner to surrender, ending the fight in a moment of bitter finality. Few voices carry the authority of Khan's because few men have felt the wrath of both. And yet, Khan stands firmly in Crawford's corner. He admits the obvious: Canelo's raw, crushing power is a force of nature. But he insists that power alone doesn't win wars. Crawford's genius, his chessboard mind, his ability to adjust mid-fight to trap opponents in invisible webs might just be the kryptonite strong enough to unravel Canelo's reign. Khan's warning is chilling. Canelo can destroy, yes, but Crawford can dismantle. And if the Mexican king makes even the slightest mistake, Crawford's brilliance could turn the ring into his battlefield. So here's the haunting question that lingers over this super fight. Will power rewrite the story, or will intelligence finally bring the giant to his knees?
We said, look, both fighters are great. They're both great at what they do. When I fought Canelo, he was easier to hit. He had slow feet, but fast hands. I never expected him to have the fast hands he had. And obviously, he has a lot of power. So that's one thing Crawford has to worry about, the size and the power. But then again, I saw a picture of Crawford where he was weighing around about 180 pounds, looked strong, looked big. He holds the weight well, and he's another fighter that's very strong, very powerful. So, you know what? I do lean more towards Crawford in this fight because he's the more fresher fighter. He's not been in too many wars like Canelo's been in. But look, like I said, this is a top level boxing. So I don't know who's gonna win. But like I said, I do lean more towards Crawford.
And then, like a voice from the gods of boxing themselves, Roy Jones Jr. steps into the debate. A living legend, a man who's seen greatness in every shape and size. Jones isn't blinded by the myth of size. He reminds the world that the old Senga, good big man always beats a good little man, has cracks in its armor. And Crawford, he says, is living proof of that. Jones points to Crawford's astonishing resume: undisputed champion across 2 weight divisions, a fighter who bends styles to his will and turns obstacles into stepping stones. To Jones, this isn't just about muscle and mass, it's about mastery. He warns that Crawford's intelligence, his surgical adjustments, and his ability to rewrite a fight in real time could give him the edge even against Canelo's raw power and size. And the more Jones speaks, the more the whispers spread. Analysts, fans, insiders, they're all starting to wonder if this fight won't be the coronation of Canelo, but the rise of Crawford as one of the greatest minds boxing has ever seen. So now the tension deepens. Is this simply power versus skill? Or are we about to witness the moment a smaller man topples boxing's biggest king?
I don't think Terence dealing with much of anything because Terence did like I did as a heavyweight. He bulked up to the weight. He been dealing with super middles and light heavyweights in training. If you can deal with him in training, you can deal with him in the fight. So the weight should not even be an issue.
Do you think Terence is that one fighter where he could accomplish what a lot of people are thinking is not doable? Is he that one fighter who's just wired and has that different DNA?
He is, and not only to mention is he the guy that can, he's already done it. How many 2 or 3 division undisputed champions have we ever had besides Usyk is a 2 division undisputed champ? This dude is a 3 division undisputed champ already, and if he wins this, he'll be a 4 division undisputed champ. We may never see that again. See, people don't like to celebrate the reality when it's happening. They'll wait till the person dead and they talk about it. This man is the only 3 division undisputed champion that boxing has ever had. And we're asking, are we wondering, can he step up to a task? Really? Do you know who we're talking about? A good big guy does beat a good bad guy, but a great little guy, I mean, does beat a great small guy, but a great small guy beats a good big guy. We might be talking about a great small guy here. We'll find out after this fight, but we might be talking about, which I think we already are, but I think we're not talking about a good small guy. I think we're talking about a great small guy. You understand me? So this great small guy, like you saw with me, a great small guy can do anything.
And then there's
Meanwhile-
Dimitri Bivol, the man who scarred Canelo's record with that unforgettable loss in 2022. If anyone knows the blueprint to beating the Mexican superstar, it's him and his verdict on Crawford. Yes, he has the tools. But the road will be brutal. Bivol doesn't sugarcoat it. He admits Crawford's talent is undeniable, but warns that stepping into the super middleweight division isn't just a physical climax, a psychological war. The punches are heavier, the pace is different, the weight itself can drain a fighter's confidence. Crawford won't just have to withstand Canelo's legendary power, he'll have to believe he belongs in that ring against a bigger, stronger opponent. For Bivol, the real danger isn't just in Canelo's fists, it's in Crawford's mind. Can he conquer the mental storm of fighting in unfamiliar territory, or will the weight of expectation prove heavier than the gloves themselves?
The reaction, of course, it was about size of Crawford. Is it okay for him to move up for 2 weight classes? Yeah, and he has very good skill. He able to win this fight, but there is a lot of but. And even not but, there is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He needs to get used to the power and pressure of 168. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able. He has good skills. He's awkward. He can use 2 boxing stands. It gives him benefits, of course.
Despite the doubts, one thing keeps echoing across the boxing world: Crawford's technical mastery. Many argue he is the more skilled craftsman inside the ring, and Carl Frampton is one of the loudest voices backing that claim. The former world champion doesn't just see Crawford as dangerous, he sees him as destined. Frampton highlights what makes Crawford terrifying: the way he dissects opponents piece by piece, breaking them down with surgical precision until there's nothing left. And when he looks at Canelo, Frampton doesn't see the same fire that once defined the Mexican icon. He believes the edge that carried Canelo through his golden years has dulled, leaving just enough room for Crawford's brilliance to take control. His conclusion is bold but clear: Crawford's ring IQ, his ability to adapt under pressure, and his flawless precision could be the keys to ending Canelo's reign. So the narrative builds. Is this fight the crowning of a new king, or the fall of one who's already lost his flame?
It's a great fight. It may not be the best fight in the world to watch, you know. I think that for Crawford to win, it'll have to be a boring fight. I think he uses distance and his movement. But I think Canelo's feet are a little bit slower now than they used to be. I think Crawford wins. I said it when he beat Errol Spence and everybody laughed at me. I said it that long ago. And I genuinely believe that Crawford wins.
And then comes Andy Ruiz Jr., a man who knows the sting of heavyweight wars and the sheer weight of Canelo's power. Ruiz admits something few dare to deny: Crawford's awkward rhythm, his unpredictable movement, his unorthodox style could create real chaos for the Mexican icon. He could frustrate Canelo, make him miss, and turn the fight into a chess match. But when pressed, Ruiz tilts the scale back toward Canelo experience. He reminds the world that Canelo has already walked through the fire-battling monsters at super middleweight and light heavyweight, taking punches from giants and still finding ways to win. Ruiz believes that kind of experience can't be replicated, and in a fight this big, it may prove decisive. His prediction is simple but chilling: Crawford's skill may shine early, but if the war drags into the later rounds, Canelo's resilience and battle-hardened willpower could crush everything in front of him. So the looming question is, will Crawford's unorthodox brilliance survive the storm, or will Canelo's experience eventually break him down piece by piece?
I know that if you weren't a Canelo Crawford card, that card would be a million times. It's still an amazing card, but you would have added a lot. Who wins, Canelo or Crawford?
I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I'm going for Canelo, of course. You know, he's the Mexican warrior as well, and for Crawford, man, you can't neglect him or you can't underestimate him as well. You know, he has a lot of skills, a lot of movement. He's a lefty as well. That's what Canelo has trouble with. I think it's gonna be an amazing fight, man. I just can't wait. And
And then enters James Buster Douglas, the man who once shocked the world by toppling Mike Tyson. If anyone understands the anatomy of an upset, it's him. And when he looks at this clash, he sees a dangerous possibility. Crawford has the exact weapons needed to rewrite history. Douglas points to the speed, the sharpness, the tactical intelligence that defines Crawford's style. He believes those tools could slice through Canelo's power, neutralizing the very advantage that has carried the Mexican star for years. To Douglas, Crawford isn't just fighting with fists, he's fighting with his mind, setting traps and outmaneuvering opponents until they're helpless. So while Canelo may enjoy the benefits of size and strength, Douglas warns that intelligence can topple even the most dominant kings. And in this fight, Crawford's brilliance may be the spark that turns a long shot into a legacy-defining victory.
September 13th, Canelo versus Crawford. Crawford's making up, move up in weight. What do you think about Crawford? You got Crawford?
Crawford's gonna do it. It's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah.
Then Crawford's gonna get the edge. Crawford is that man.
Any advice on him? This moment, you've had that moment against Mike Tyson, that seizing that moment. What kind of advice would you give him?
I think he's gonna be well prepared. He's looking great. You know, when I see him in the papers and reading in the magazines, it's going to be a great fight, but I think Crawford's going to come out ahead.
And finally, the words of legendary trainer Teddy Atlas cut through the noise like a warning bell. For Atlas, this fight isn't about who punches harder, it's about who thinks faster. He acknowledges Canelo's power as undeniable, a force that can end nights in a single shot. But he insists that raw strength alone won't crown the winner here. Atlas sees Crawford's greatest weapon, not in his fists, but in his brain. His ability to adjust mid-battle, to strip away an opponent's strengths, piece by piece, could be the very thing that dismantles Canelo. In his eyes, this bout isn't about brawnets, a chess match under the bright lights, and Crawford may just be the Grand Master. So maybe, just maybe, the question isn't whether Canelo can overpower him, but whether Crawford can outthink him.
He's a little overrated. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good, really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. And I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup, where he came from.
And then there's Shawn Porter, the former welterweight champion, who went to war with Crawford and knows exactly what it feels like to face him under the brightest lights. Porter doesn't hesitate. He's certain Crawford can withstand the storm. He praises Crawford's preparation, his razor-sharp focus, and most of all, his unmatched ability to adapt. No matter the style, no matter the opponent, Crawford always finds a way to shift gears and take control. Porter insists that the so-called size disadvantage won't cripple him. In fact, Crawford has conquered challenges like this before. For Porter, the narrative is simple. Canelo's power may be frightening, but Crawford's intelligence, discipline, and proven resilience could neutralize it. The real danger lies not in Canelo's fists, but in underestimating the man standing across from him.
With Canelo Alvarez, but Terence is not going to see anything that he hasn't seen before. No, he hasn't seen this beast on fight night, but he's seen versions of this beast for a very, very, very long time. People have said that he's a blown-up 147-pound fighter. If you remember, he said it was hard for him to make 147 when he fought Errol Spence Jr. I was like, yo, how is that possible? I didn't realize like he was really doing everything that's needed to gain the weight properly. Most fighters don't know how to gain weight and fit into a weight class properly. He's done that.
In the end, this isn't just another fight, it's a collision of two legacies. Canelo Alvarez, the powerhouse with size, strength, and years of experience in wars that tested his very soul, versus Terence Crawford, the tactician, the master of adaptation, the fighter whose brilliance could dismantle even the strongest walls. As the countdown ticks closer, the debate rages louder: power versus precision, muscle versus mind, king versus challenger. Fans are split, analysts are divided, but one truth hangs heavy over the boxing world. Something historic is about to unfold. The only question is, when the dust settles, will the night belong to Canelo's brute force, or will Crawford's genius finally rewrite the script of boxing history?